Will Ospreay and Hangman Adam Page. Double or Nothing 2025. Hard to believe so much has changed for these two in the epic they're telling. Heading into this, this is the first pay-per-view I've watched of any wrestling show since I want to say Double or Nothing last year. Honestly, I took a brief hiatus from everything because life got in the way and a whole bunch of nonsense happened, and I had stopped watching regularly, like I've said in previous videos, and I've only stuck to watching certain matches throughout the web and occasionally watch highlight videos. But yeah, and the last video I had talked about was the first time in a while I watched a wrestling match. But I decided to buy the pay-per-view for Double or Nothing 2025 on Amazon Prime because they're still not on HBO Max, god damn it. And still waiting for that. But the Owen Hart Cup tournament. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna say I know him. I'm not gonna say I wouldn't. I know what he's thinking, but I sincerely hope Owen Hart would be proud to have watched this match. He's probably watching in Wrestling Valhalla, and it's like, they honor my legacy. And sadly, Martha Hart didn't show up at the show. I was curious as to why, but I don't know. Maybe she has some things to attend to. I don't know what goes on in her life, so I'm not going to take theories on that. But, yeah. Watching the build-up when looking at the recaps of Hangman and Will Ospreay. Like, Will Ospreay has had a phenomenal year, pun intended. Heading into this show, he's had... In fact, the last few years alone, he's had 2 matches that can be considered match of the decade, with against Kenny Omega at Forbidden Door and Bryan Danielson at AEW Dynasty, which should say a lot about the talent and caliber of this son of a bitch. And Hangman and Page, since certain things happened in 2022, has been going on this massive dark path to a hopeful redemption that kickstarted from the whole guy we don't want to talk about right now. And considering how things have ended up, that's definitely a problematic discussion. To his feud with Swerve, which left Hangman reeling in a emotionally destroyed state where he was irrevocably crippled. Basically, I would say, I said, you ever hear the tragedy of Hangman Adam Page? I thought not. It's a wrestling legend. Because that was how sad it got for Hangman, how low he fell, how far he had fallen, like resorting to burning Swerve's childhood home as a retaliation method for Swerve breaking into his family's home and leaving a merch for Hangman's kid who was in the crib. Yeah, that was a thing. And yeah, I think the only time I ever felt a more sinister moment where someone breaks into another wrestler's house is Bray Wyatt when he was doing the whole when he was harassing the Miz's family, and because for some reason they let this happen, they had this moment where the puppets and dolls are playing with Miz's real kid, and they leave behind a creepy doll that leaves the kid crying, and I was like, damn, they went there. And yeah, and then there was the other time Triple H broke into Randy Orton's home and terrorized everybody and screamed at people's faces like a deranged lunatic. Then subsequently got arrested for it. So yeah, we have a bit of a streak in wrestling when it comes to, hey, let's break into people's homes and hope nothing goes wrong. The only one who seemed to have the most logical answer for break-ins was Brian Pillman, and it's like, this is a stand your ground law state, and tried to shoot Steve Austin. Oh damn! That was a segment back then in the '90s. That was a break. That was like a what the actual F did we just witness? But yeah. And then heading into Double or Nothing, Hangman had been going through this massive redemption arc to try and salvage his broken psyche. And of course, people had debates about why is Hangman the one needing to be redeemed and not Swerve. And it's like, I think it's more like, and I use this quote from The Mighty Avengers by Al Ewing back heading into the 2015 Secret Wars event, where Captain America shows up, Steve Rogers, and he says that we do not fight monsters by becoming monsters ourselves. That's sort of what Hangman did. He became that monster to fight Swerve, enter that same level of depravity to get what he needed to get revenge. He channeled that inner hatred, and it left him in this perpetual state of self-loathing, self-hatred, letting people he cared about be pushed away, and be tragically responsible for the ending of Christopher Daniels' wrestling career, like making everyone around him become resentful, more hateful towards him, not trusting him whatsoever, cutting his ties with everybody. It reached that point that it's like here's the thing. I don't think Hangman, if he wins, if he gets his big moment and redeems himself, it's not going to be a happy, given AEW's density for lore accuracy as humanly fucking possible, Hangman is not going to get this big happy ending that he got from 2021 at Full Gear. He's going to get more of the Greek tragedy bittersweet ending, where it's like he won, he earned his redemption, but no one kind of likes him anymore, and he's kind of lost that trust with people, and he has to spend another long time to try and rebuild what he had destroyed. And this was a slow start to it, but that's kind of where I'm seeing this at. And I still remember, like, I recall this idea I had pitched, looking back on it, where I said, oh man, imagine if Dark Order number 10 had turned on Hangman in December, after he had won the title, when it had only just been a year and whatnot, and how depraved that would have been, but that's a different topic altogether. But yeah, Hangman had been on this redemption path. Will Ospreay has been on this massive ascension to the superstardom that AEW has been looking for. And now you got you have the main character versus the bruv colliding head on at Double or Nothing in the finals of the men's portion of the Owen Hart Cup. And oh man, I was heading into this match royally worried when I heard it was the main event. Like, it was going to be the match that closed the show. And when I heard that, I was like, oh god, you have to somehow follow up Anarchy in the Arena? How the fuck are you going to do that? You're I know you guys are talented. I know you guys are amazingly, phenomenally talented athletes and can probably steal the show, but the crowd's probably going to be dead by that point. Especially if there's a buffer match in between, that's going to probably make things even worse. And then they had Anarchy in the Arena, then they had the Trios tag team match, and then they had the main event that lasted for nearly 40 minutes. And here's the thing, and this lasted until like around 12:30 at Double or Nothing. Like, this was a long ass pay-per-view, I'll admit. And every match on the show was over 10 minutes. Even the buy-in show had 10-minute matches going on. So every match had 10 minutes and whatnot, or at least went above 10 minutes and just went all in on that, pun intended. And Hangman and Ospreay were going to be told, you're closing the show, you got to get that crowd alive again, you got to steal it, you got to tear it down, you got to be bigger than Anarchy in the Arena, you got to be bigger than Okada and Mike Bailey, you got to be bigger than Ricochet and Mark Briscoe, god damn it, you got to be bigger than all of that, you got to be big, you got to go big, you got to go fight, you got to go win. And then I'll get to the last part in a minute, but this match, Tony Khan, I gotta hand it to you. Like, usually had a big problem with match placements on the big pay-per-view cards at times, but you gambled and you won. You gambled big time, like, because I would have had Anarchy in the Arena as the safe option to end the show, but instead you had it be the third match, the third to last match of the show, and had this match be the end match. And you somehow managed to get that crowd alive and well for this, even though they were sitting on their asses for 5 hours. 5 hours. 5 freaking hours. That's how long it went. And you had gotten that crowd alive and passionate at midnight. Give it up for the booking team and for the wrestlers. And what we got with Hangman and Ospreay was nothing short of a classic. It was phenomenal. It was beautiful. And like I said, I think Owen Hart would be looking at this in Wrestling Valhalla and being like, it's carrying my legacy. It's carrying my legacy. And whatnot. And I wish Martha Hart was there just to see how that went. Just to see her emotions, to see that moment. But I don't know what happened. But this was such an intense match. This was so freaking great. And I was worried. I didn't know who I wanted to win, honestly. Like, do I want the Rising Bruv? Or do I want the redemption of the main character? Like, it was that, but like, it was like, it could go either way, and I will not complain. Which is possibly the best outcome you want for a wrestling match when you have it build up to such a big level, because normally you have that whole, I want this one wrestler to win and this other wrestler to not win, because if that other wrestler wins, they have more to lose than the wrestler who has nothing to lose if they lose. Ain't that right, Cena and Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 30? Yeah. Still bitter about that. Or Goldberg and Bray Wyatt. We all know how that worked out. But, yeah. This match was so freaking epic. And it just made me wish AJ Styles left WWE just to go to AEW, just to finish some dream matches left in his game. Because, oh God, I'm looking at these matches and then I have to go back for myself and look, wait, he has never fought Kenny Omega? What the hell, man? How do you have this? How do you have this career run? How do you wrestle in Japan and you have not wrestled Kenny Omega yet? You tasted it at one point, and then you didn't do it. New Japan tasted it, then you left and went to WWE. And now he wants to retire soon, and I'm like, oh God, can you at least like wait out another year, go to AEW and just do some matches there? Like, I know that probably be too demanding, but like just do like maybe like 5 matches. One with Kenny, one with Ospreay, one with Hangman, let's see. One with Pac, the Bastard. Damn, that would be awesome. And maybe MJF. I don't know. You can take a guess who you want for the 5th man. But like. And my favorite moment is that Will Ospreay decided to take a page from his match with Bryan Danielson and tear off his pad around his arm, or like he did with his match with Bryan Danielson at AEW Dynasty, which I still say is now contending with Kenny Omega's match with Ospreay as match of the 2020s. So yeah, we should definitely have that conversation about a match of the decade list. But I love that moment, the anime like battle where they're like no restraints and whatnot, pure bone versus bone. The buckshot lariat versus I keep trying to remember its name. Oh god, Hidden Blade. Yeah, Hidden Blade. And like I said, I did not care who won. It could have went to either man, and I would have been all right with it. Like, I know people were like, Hangman's the right choice, but Ospreay would have been a good alternative. And I want to get to this part, but let me just finish this match recap. And it ultimately culminates with Hangman landing the buckshot lariat. Ospreay still kicks out. And Ospreay does channel a bit of his past with Don Callis, with his anger and rage, and trying to really inflict pain on Hangman. And then when the commentators were pointing out how they have not seen Ospreay be like this, I was like, no, he did that with Kenny Omega when he was part of the Don Callis family, and we all know how that worked out. Kenny Omega left bleeding in the bucket fuel of his own blood along with Ospreay. And then Hangman stuns everybody by getting the 1-2-3 eventually over Will Ospreay and winning the Owen Hart Cup and securing his main event spot against Jon Moxley at AEW All In Texas in a few weeks. Fucking phenomenal. This was a fucking phenomenal match. I would not have changed anything about it. I didn't care who would win. I didn't care. And Ospreay and Hangman shook hands afterwards. And here's the thing. This also kind of continues the Hangman redemption arc, because Hangman, after he's celebrating with the trophy and the belt, he looks back at Ospreay brooding in the center of the ring, and he has this look on his face, and he goes down the ring and whatnot. We don't know what he's gonna do, and this is sort of an echo. This is like, basically, let me channel my inner George Lucas. It's like poetry, sort of, they rhyme. Every stanza kind of rhymes after the last one. Where the last time he did something like that, a fan screamed at him to stop when it looked like he was going to inflict more pain on Swerve Strickland, and Hangman backed himself up because he wasn't trying to hurt Swerve Strickland that when he went down there. He was like trying to be he was like that inner humanity of him that came out and was like trying to be like, oh god, what's happened? I should check on him. Only for a fan to scream out at him, just tell him to stop, basically, to not go down there, because they were worried he was going to just go down there and finish the job of what was left. Only for Hangman to have that realization, I did that. Oh my god, what have I done? Only to revel in his depravity. He does the same thing going down there, but no one's screaming at him to stop. Instead, Hangman does what he had wanted to, where part of his humanity wanted to do with Swerve, and like reassure them or help them. And he and Ospreay shake hands and congratulate each other on that match, and congratulates Hangman on his victory. And yeah, Hangman goes back up the stage and recreates that ending to All Out, where he is screaming, but not in pure anger and in dark, twisted victory, but he's screaming in relief. He's screaming in victory that he earned it and not went down that dark path that he did against Swerve. Class storytelling right there. And you want to know the big thing about this match? Heading into Double or Nothing, they didn't know who was going to win. And Ospreay and Hangman weren't helping them. Not because they were being egotistical. No, in fact, it got reported by Five Select and Sean Ross Sapp that Hangman and Ospreay were like Hangman looked at Ospreay like, I want you to win. Ospreay looked back at Hangman and be like, I want you to win. It's basically that JonTron moment where JonTron and this other guy for the Flexing 2 tape video where they're like, dude, you're number one. No, 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 let's say, dude, you are number one. Motherfucker, you're number one. No, motherfucker, you're number one. I will fucking kill you. And whatnot. And it's just a funny moment to imagine how that probably went. Where they're just where they want the other to win so badly. Like, I would have been alright if Hangman and I would have been alright. Tony Khan, instead of making a decision, was like, okay, here's an idea. How about you two actually go out there and act like you have a legitimate wrestling match? No ending scripted. We just go all out and see you two decide in that ring fighting who goes out on top. That might make the match about 3 hours, but I'll be all for that. Oh, man. And to see that these two were so willing to take the fall for the other guy to put the other one over, I'm pretty sure Bryan Danielson's at home watching this and being like, "That's my boys! That's my boys! That's my boys!" And I'm pretty sure Brie with his kids are looking at him and being like, "Aren't we supposed to be your family?" I mean, yeah, I'm sitting on the couch, aren't I? Yes. And then I'm pretty sure two other people, I made this joke. Mark Calloway's probably being like, probably heard this and was like, "Friends in competition? No, I will not allow this stunt to be made as a trend in wrestling. I will restore distrust, guns, and knives at all costs. At all costs. Fuck you!" And then there's Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea hearing this and probably being like, "I don't get this, brother. What the hell's this? People being willing to put another guy over? I don't understand that. How do you put those into words?" So yeah, that's my my mandatory dig I need to make at Terry Bollea and Mark Calloway, but let's be real, that was coming. Yeah. But yeah, phenomenal match, phenomenal main event, and honestly, every match on this show is freaking awesome. I can't believe I had to say that. I'll get to talking about more matches hopefully in the coming days, depending on the times and energy I have. But we'll see. There was a lot to cover on this show, and just talking about this is almost 23 minutes. So we'll see y'all again next time. This was your host, Eric Brown of NRE the Wrestleverse of NRE of Neo Reality Entertainment NRE. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, check out my content in the description below. Stay tuned for more. Follow me on Blue Sky and everywhere else. And I'll see y'all again next time. Peace and take care. And take care of yourselves and each other. And don't forget, believe in the brawl.